Good morning. It's Thursday, and here we are with block 11 of June Mini Madness. And as you notice, this one isn't quite so mini. I thought I would try doing a few of the 6.5-inch blocks just so you can see maybe a little better what I'm doing. So let's get to the cutting. This is a two-color block, so you've got triangles and then you've got squares down the center. So for your triangles, you're going to need 2 3 7/8 inch squares cut in, no, just one, sorry, 1 3 7/8 inch square cut in half diagonally for your corners, and 1 3 7/8 inch background fabric cut in half diagonally. So we have two triangles. Then you're going to need, of your second color, you're going to need 4 2-inch squares of your dark and 4 2-inch squares of your background. And this block is called, oh, I lost it. Oh, maybe it'll come to me. Hourglass. Hourglass. I decided it was called Hourglass for these triangles. Anyway, this is very much like the Road to California, or what else is it called? It has a couple different names. Very similar type of a block. That's a 9-patch, so it has more units, but this is a 4-patch version of it. Ramble. Okay, for your 3.5-inch squares, finished at 3-inch, you'll need 2 squares, 2 3/8 inch of your outside corner fabric for your triangles and for your background fabric. So you just need 1 square cut in half diagonally for 2 triangles. You'll need 4 1 1/4 inch squares of a different fabric for these, and then 4 1 1/4 inch squares for the background squares. So I'll have all that information in the text of this post. So let's get sewing. For this block, I like to whenever possible sew my units in an order to where I don't have to cut the thread very often. Kind of a little game. Makes it less tedious to sew the block. I don't know. It makes it a little more efficient and you don't have as much thread. So if you start your 4 patches, is all sewn up, and then you can sew your triangles. You notice this fabric has mermaids on it. I kind of hated to cut them up, but this was one of the bigger pieces, so I thought, I'll give it a try and see what it looks like in the finished block. You probably won't even be able to see its mermaids. It'll just look like color. Sometimes it's hard to cut up those fabrics, but you just gotta do it sometimes. Okay, so we have our 2 triangles done, and then we've got our 2 4 patches, so we'll just clip them apart and sew them together. Making sure my seams go toward the darker side if I can. Little handy seam roller is nice when you don't have an iron handy. So you want to make sure you have your squares. Working in a diagonal. these open and trim off those little dog-eared triangles. And those go out toward the outside corners of your block. And there you have it. From here, it's just a matter of sewing a simple 4-patch together. Flip the seams so they go away from the triangles. Make sure you feel those to make so they're nesting up. Watch that seam that's under there. Lots of things to be aware of while you're sewing these together. You have a little bit more room on these 6.5-inch blocks, so it does make it a tiny bit easier. And, oh, come on. There we go. Your block 11, and this is an hourglass block. So I'll see you tomorrow with block 12.